In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest in trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television. The Move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
From the views on the street
we go to bed empty hunger
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lawn.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment.
Well, hello and welcome to News Hour on Voice of the People TV. I am Vivian Oguche.
And I am Nenna Ndomdioto. Before we begin the news, kindly visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Here are the headlines. Senate passes Electoral Act Amendment Bill.
Also, Minority Caucus rejects manual transmission of results.
Ezekwesili calls for mandatory e-transmission of results.
Senate orders stronger joint security in Niger and Kwara.
DSS witness tells court tariffs were paid for Owo attack.
President Tinubu mourns a Reverend Jesse Jackson.
On the foreign scene, Iran claims progress in U.S. nuclear talks.
While in business news, Tinubu unveils Nigeria's industrial policy 2025.
In sports, Super Falcons face Cameroon in friendlies.
In the world of entertainment, Odumadu Black's trial adjourned to April 8.
Now the news in details. The Senate has passed the Electoral Act 2022 Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2026. The session turned rowdy after Senator Inyinaya Baribe demanded a division on Clause 60, which addresses the use of Form EC8A if electronic transmission of results fails. Opposition senators initially objected, but the Senate leader, Okpayemi Bamidele, supported the motion, saying it aligned with a rescission proposal he had sponsored. Senate President Godswill Akpabio sustained the point of order allowing the division to proceed. Under the vote, 55 senators supported retaining the proviso for manual transmission, while 15 opposed it.
Meanwhile, the minority caucus in the House of Representatives has rejected manual transmission of election results or any process it says could allow manipulation. Minority Leader Kingsley Chinda stated this at a news conference in Abuja. He warned that the caucus will resist any attempt to violate Section 84 of the Electoral Act, which governs the internal selection of candidates by political parties. Chinda also said the law recognizes candidate selection as an internal party affair and does not impose direct, indirect primaries or consensus parties.
In the meantime, former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, joined protesters at the National Assembly on Tuesday over the Senate's rejection of mandatory real-time electronic transmission of election results. Speaking to journalists, Ezekwesili said the Senate must not pass an ambiguous provision granting discretionary powers instead of making the electronic transmission integrity and would prevent controversies over polling unit result sheets. Tensions flared as police fired tear gas to disperse demonstrators, including civil society groups and pro-democracy activists who had marched peacefully to demand stronger provisions in electoral acts for transparent elections.
Well ahead of the 2027 general elections, stakeholders are calling for greater youth participation in Nigeria's politics to prepare the next generation of leaders. The call was made at a town hall meeting in Abuja themed Power Back to the People, highlighting the importance of democracy and youth engagement. Our correspondent, Jimo Girima, reports.
In a case for the youths to become more politically involved, the Directorate of Political Affairs, Department of Political Affairs, Peace and Security Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, decried the idea of inviting the youth to the table rather than having the tables themselves. He added that Senegal, Zimbabwe has done it. Nigerian youths need to move away from youth inclusiveness to building the future around the youth across the country. They must own the table. Yes, they may lack experience, but nobody learns to drive by sitting in the back seat.
We sit down watching political stakeholders doing whatever they are doing, and you say that I'm not part of it. At the end of the day, who's coming to lead you? Those people that you have not voted for, you don't even think about voting for, but at the end of the day, they are the ones coming to rule you. So it's very important for youths to participate in the democratic processes.
The executive director of ALTES called on the Nigerian political leaders to put in place structures to accommodate more youth before, during, and after the election. He stressed the need to groom the younger generation to aid the seamless transition of leadership from the old breeds.
Excluding youth voices from reform advocacy, this risks perpetuating systematic weaknesses. Our goal basically is to strengthen Nigeria's democracy by mobilizing Gen Zs, basically young Nigerians, to advocate for credible, inclusive, and transparent electoral reforms.
Some of the panelists who spoke stressed on the need for consistent engagement with government at all levels to ensure that its policies and decisions are youth and gender responsive.
I think we have policies, and these policies are meant to protect the citizens. But what we've seen over time is that because implementation is very poor or nothing at all, citizens are oftentimes discouraged.
The youths, most especially, have to think about how they can be part of the government, not even actually who the law is made for. Because those people you felt that are the politicians today fought their way up there. And when they get there, they are able to make a policy that favors them.
It all boils down to corruption. Because INEC as an electoral body, when we all have expectations for INEC, and we know what INEC is meant to stand as, an independent body. But then there are people in this independent body, in air quotes, that are corrupt.
If you elect leaders and you let them roam free, you let them roam well, without trying to hold them accountable, without paying attention to policies that are being formulated in the country, without paying attention to governance as a whole, and then you have people who would always only further their own interests.
They, however, called on all stakeholders to play their roles to build a Nigeria that Nigerians can be proud of and call their home. Jimo Ogrima, reporting for VOP TV in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Jimo. Moving on, the Senate has directed its Committee on Interior to investigate the immediate and remote causes of the fire at Singa Market in Kano State, which destroyed shops and goods worth billions of naira. The committee, chaired by Senator Adams Oshomole, has 4 weeks to submit its report. Resolutions follow the motion by Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibrin, co-sponsored by Senators Kawu Somalia and El-Rufai'S. The Senate urged market authorities to redesign the facility to reduce future fire risk and tasked NEMA with locating 7 traders reported missing. It also called on the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs to develop a soft loan scheme for affected traders and mandated the Federal Fire Service to conduct a nationwide audit of fire safety compliance in major markets. Meanwhile, Senator Aliyu Wadada urged lawmakers to address the root causes of recurring market fires, while Senate President Godswill Akpabio appealed to Nigerians to support the victims.
Well, away from that story, the Senate has called for an upgrade of joint security operations in Niger and Kwara states. The directive followed a motion by Sani Musa after the killing of more than 50 people and the abduction of several women and children in Konkoso district, Borgo local government area of Niger State. Lawmakers expressed concerns over rising attacks on rural communities and farmlands in the north-central region, warning of threats to food security and national stability. The Senate mandated its Committee on Defense, Army, Air Force, Police Affairs and National Security and Intelligence to conduct a joint assessment and report back within 4 weeks. The chamber also observed a minute's silence for the victims and called for stronger collaboration to dismantle cross-border terrorist networks.
This next report says that Nigerians are reacting to the growing presence of the U.S. military and armaments in the country amid rising insecurity, including killings and abductions. A cross-section of residents in Awka, Anambra State, have welcomed the move with courteous optimism. Correspondent Ndo Okbaleze, who also gathered reactions on Malam Nasir El-Rufai'S recent altercations with the DSS, has the full report.
From legal authorities to journalism practitioners and even artisans, the response is same, and that is a general welcome to foreign intervention in the seemingly intractable security issues in Nigeria. Messrs. Victor Agosiobo, Ejiofor Mebogo, and Shedrack weighed in their opinions.
Onslaught of terrorism, maiming, killing, dispossession, being forced to IDP camps, and all of that. First and foremost, as human beings, they must react as human beings by saying that survival is key. They will expect anybody from heaven or hell to come and protect them. That is a natural behavior. Okay. Then the second dimension is, no matter how much we rejoice, First Lady, the President, the man talking to you, the man in the street, and we get overjoyed that a foreign nation is coming to save us from the onslaught of terrorism. Be it known that a large chunk of our sovereignty is being dispensed. We are losing it. That is the second part. If citizens of a nation are comfortable that their country, given all the wealth there is, cannot protect them, that is not sovereignty enough. Then probably the third segment is, the last time I checked, America is not a charitable organization.
Okay.
They may feel good about democracy. They may not feel too good protecting democracy without some kind of quid pro quo compensation, especially in the Trump era. What is Nigeria given? What is the sacrifice Nigeria is giving for this level of involvement where another country will provide you technology, provide you armament, provide you intelligence, and even run the risk of providing you with troops on ground to protect you?
The intervention of Nigeria, military government, I believe is a welcome development in Nigeria. Over the years now, Nigeria will be fighting insecurity, which we cannot get a result, Them intervening the insecurity of Nigeria, I believe is a welcome development. It's a welcome development that, okay, by doing that, like in the northern part of Nigeria, you can be seeing in Jos, Benue State, there are a lot of killing in those regions, Them coming in like this, it will help us to curtail the insecurity of Nigeria. I believe their intervention is a welcome development.
For now, the federal government has assured us that they are well aware of U.S. military operation in Nigeria to help, to assist, stem the tide of terrorism in some part of the country. So since we as citizens have gotten the assurance that the Nigerian government are in close contact and cooperation with the U.S. military as regards to their operations in Nigeria, then there is no cause for alarm.
For the invitation extended to Malam El-Rufai by the EFCC, his detention and also his trading of words with the DSS, not very many people believe it is not connected to politics of 2027.
The beauty is that an El-Rufai is subjected to the law. In answering that, there is a whole lot of question mark about how these people operate and how their interest, correlates with the interest of the nation.
It's a political fight, and I believe El-Rufai is a strong opposition to the government. With time, we'll get to know the outcome of all those fights. Yeah.
Ndo Obaleze, VOP TV News.
Undu, thank you. Elsewhere, a witness from the Department of State Services told the Federal High Court in Abuja that suspected terrorists were funded, armed, and mobilized to attack a Catholic church in Ondo State on the 5th of June 2022. The witness, testifying under protection of SSI, led the DSS investigation into the attack, which left over 40 people dead and more than 100 injured. Giving evidence before Justice Emeka Nwite, SSI said he is the Deputy Director in charge of counter-terrorism investigation and detailed the roles of the defendants, as well as search for sponsors and other findings. Justice Nwite adjourned the trial until February 18 at 11 a.m. for continuation.
We now move on to Edo State. In response to a rise in cult-related killings, the State Special Security Squad under Operation Flash Out Cultists and Kidnappers has arrested 2 suspected Black Axe members. Authorities have also issued a 7-day ultimatum for youth leaders of Obage and Ara communities to report for questioning as efforts intensify to curb violence in Angmagba and surrounding areas. Correspondent Rhoda Journey tells us more.
A surge in court-related killings in Benin City has prompted a major security operation, placing 3 Okaigeles, known as youth leaders, under scrutiny. The Edo State Government Special Security Squad, Operation Flush Out Cultists and Kidnappers, carried out raids in Amagba and Obage communities, arresting and questioning 2 suspected Black Axe members, while 5 others remain on the run.
Who get the lessons where they use?
Na the Doviano like get the motor like carry the back on. I not they aware of the killing, but I say me then start with to carry the back. Now the no get the bag. Now I get the motor. Now I drive the motor.
This arm, who get the arm?
Now I carry the bag enter inside house.
Who get the arm?
Now Dovia no carry the bag enter inside house.
Who get the arm?
I don't know get am among them, but I carry the bag.
Who carry the arm come?
Now Dovia no carry enter inside house. Yes.
Dovia is your friend.
Yes, remember.
He's your friend.
Yes.
How long?
Need zone now for no each other.
How long you don't remember?
Since 2012.
How many operations you don't go since then?
I've had any operation, sir.
So what thing you dey do for this house?
I heard the hustle.
Be specific. What you dey do for this house? Which kind of hustle you do?
Now, yeah, what they do?
Remember, which country you belong to?
New Black Met of Africa, sir.
No, which country you go with police? Which country you belong to?
Aye.
The squad has issued a 7-day ultimatum for the Okageles of Obage and Ara communities to report for questioning or risks being declared wanted.
The squad has made a very huge success in our mandate to make this state crime-free, free from killings and other social vices. These residents, we are here to do a very thorough search where these people were arrested. And the government of the state is giving the following people 7 days ultimatum to report themselves to the government house. The Okagele of Obage community, Dada is to report himself to the office of the Special Security Squad. The Okagele of Ofuvengbe is also given 7 days to report himself. The Okagele of Ama community is also given 7 days to report themselves. The following people have been declared wanted in Edo State: Enayas, Koko, Amani, Sparrow, and Dada. They will be arrested wherever they see, and we are appealing to members of the community, wherever you see these individuals, please call the nearest security operative.
Brother Joye, DOP TV News.
Well, joining us virtually to analyze these stories is Opeyemi Ogunlami, Take It Back Movement Coordinator. Opeyemi, it's such a pleasure to have you join us after such a long time.
Yeah, good evening to you.
You're welcome. So the Senate has passed the Electoral Act 2022 Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2026. The session turned rowdy after Senator Abaribe demanded a division on Clause 60, which addresses the use of Form EC8A if electronic transmission of results fails. So in a nutshell, it means that, yes, there's going to be electronic transmission of results, but with a backup of manual processes if there is any technical glitches. Is this what yourself and other members of your group have been protesting for?
What we have been saying before now, in fact, our position, our movement is and what we have today. And
Opeyemi, are you with us? Opeyemi, can you hear me? We seem to have lost connection. Yeah, so we lost connectivity with you at some point. So can you start from the beginning, please?
Okay, I said it is part of our agitation in our movement, Take It Back, and then it's even far more than that, what we are agitating for. In the movement, we look for electronic voting, and we are not yet there. The Senate is still crying and yelling over just electronic transmission of results. But to talk about this, our movement is saying, if this is where we're starting from, before we get to electronic voting, then it is very important to have right from the polling unit to transmit our results electronically, because where rigging and manipulation happens is at the polling unit center, then getting to the collation center, there are the ruling party in place, especially what we're having today. It's seen everywhere. So Nigeria needs this, and the agitation of the whole Nigeria is that we should have electronic transmission of results immediately that the vote ends.
Okay, let's take you to the House of Representatives. Formerly they had actually agreed to this real-time transmission of election results, but today they decided they had different opinions, and there was also a rowdy session in the House where some persons were saying they should rescind on what they had agreed on, and now the minority leader Kingsley Chinda is saying that they would not allow any manipulation, and they want to agree to the fact that they want to agree to this real-time transmission against what some other reps are saying. What do you make of this?
Well, it is seen that about 15% or 15 persons in number representing Nigerians at the National Assembly agreed to compulsory electronic transmission of results. This only shows that the people we have there aren't representing Nigerians in totality. In fact, they are representing their own party, the interest of themselves individually and collectively at the party level. What Nigerians want at this moment is an end to electoral shenanigans, and then we will keep agitating for all this. If we have right electoral body in Nigeria, it is so certain that large number of people that we have, in fact, majority, including the Senate president himself, he wouldn't be in the Senate today. If we have a right election body. But we do not have it. But we agitate to have a right society. And this is exactly what Nigerians are calling for. If the people in the National Assembly agree to it or not, they are representing Nigerians, and they must follow what the populace request of them.
Well, Opayemi, Section 84 is a bone of contention in Nigeria right now. Yeah? Because the lawmakers are saying that they will resist any attempt to violate Section 84 of the Electoral Act. What does this say? It just governs the internal selection of candidates by political parties. So Chinda is saying that, the option of a manual backup, if there are technical glitches, would actually be an open door to manipulation. And he talked about election, and not selection of political candidates. What do you make of this?
Well, there is no, at this time, I know Nigerians, or let me say Nigerian political system are actually destroyed. And it's so sad. If we are following the Constitution, they only want to follow Constitution for their own benefit and not for the benefit of the people. If they are quoting Section 84 at this point in time, where is the section where primary election needs to be conducted by INEC, and it wasn't conducted? The election that brought even the Senate president into office didn't go through primary election at the party level. So if we follow Constitution, Nigerian Senate only want to follow the Constitution when it suits them. So what I'm making from this point is just let the Constitution preside over all, and nothing should be left behind. That's just my position.
Yeah, but do you trust the Constitution? I mean, so many Nigerians have called for the amendment of the Constitution, saying that it wasn't a people-oriented Constitution. But you're saying, hey, that the Constitution must be followed and trusted. Do you really trust the Constitution?
At this point, if we're talking about the Constitution, the 1999 Constitution is a military constitution. And then it has indicated, even from so much amendment that we have, the ruling class had benefited a lot from the Constitution, and wherever Nigerians ought to benefit, they remain silent. So saying the constitution, do I trust the constitution? Well, the constitution of Nigeria at this time isn't a democratic constitution. For that reason, I would not trust the Nigerian constitution. So we need a total different constitution. And then who will propose that? Are you saying the people benefiting from the misappropriation of the country would proceed and stand that we should have a new constitution for the country? They wouldn't. So at this moment, we need right-thinking individuals that are ready to serve the country in our National Assembly, not individuals who are ready to benefit themselves.
Okay, still, of course, on the electronic transmission of results, the former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, has she joined protesters today at the National Assembly over the Senate's rejection of mandatory real-time electronic transmission of election results. And she's actually saying that the Senate must not pass any ambiguous provision granting. She does not want the clause. She just like joining every other Nigerian and every other person who is at the National Assembly protesting. And they don't want that clause. They don't want an ambiguous provision granting discretionary powers instead of making electronic transmission compulsory. And she's stressing that the clause is vital for electoral control, for electoral integrity. What do you make of this? This e-transmission, in your own opinion, is that what it would take for us to really have credible, free and fair election in Nigeria?
E-transmission of results is the beginning of the end to electoral malpractice in Nigeria. It is not all that it will take. Don't forget, I uttered it that we will still need to get to electronic voting in Nigeria, where you can sit down at the comfort of your home and vote. A lot of people do not vote. Okay, how many big men vote in Nigeria? How many big men really go to polling unit center to give their voting at election time? You only see the poor and the vulnerable in the. So this is just the beginning. And if truly these people really care about Nigeria in 200 years' time, and not Nigeria in the next 4 years or in the next 8 years of their tenure, then they need to start putting things right. These guys in the National Assembly and in the executive, including the president, they are going abroad. They could see what's happening there. In America, for example, you use USSD code. And if we can use USSD code to load recharge card, to transfer money from bank, then we can use USSD code to also vote at an election. For example, Nigeria can just have, if you want to vote, press star hash or star 000 blah blah hash. You press it, then it says number one, press 1 to vote for APC, press 2 to vote for AAC, press 3 to vote for PDP. You could have all these things. These people know that. And it will take Nigerians, it will happen within Nigerians, and it will take Nigerian youth to make it happen within a matter of weeks. But because they do not have the right mind to do the right thing for the society, they want to benefit in the period of their own 8 years or 4 years in office and then get away with it. Enough of living this myopic life. And that's why we must have a right thinking people in government.
Okay, there are fears of some technical glitches, and we know we've even seen this, even when you're sending the USSD you made mention of. Sometimes you get to want to recharge your network or get to recharge your airtime, and it doesn't go through. And there are fears that there could be network glitches. Do you think that these fears are not unfounded?
Well, if you find out if there are fears, Nigerian politicians are in charge of the glitches. You've not started a thing, and you're saying there would be glitches. Why can't we work against having glitches on that day of the election? And there are times also that when we want to load recharge card, we try it 2 times, 3 times, and it goes through. There are times like that. Then I would prefer to have me try about 2 to 3 times using USSD code or doing electronic voting and the network is affecting, and I could try it over again than to go and queue in the sun. I prefer trying it, pressing my phone to vote, than going into the sun and kill. In fact, it is not healthier to go into the sun, spending longer hours voting. And if you do this, your result is transmitted electronically. Then it goes. But because these people do not mean well for the country, in our own opinion, in Take It Back movement, we sure know that Nigeria, and our position is that Nigeria has got the enemy of the people in government, and that's our position.
Let's talk about the protest. Opeyemi. So, still on the matter, tensions flared as police fired tear gas to disperse demonstrators, including civil society groups and pro-democracy activists. You know, your colleague Sowore was there, and I know your group was part of this protest. Can you briefly, in a minute, give us an eyewitness account and how this makes you feel as a Nigerian?
Well, when President Tinubu became the president and was sworn in 2023, the first statement that I put out on social media was that democracy is dead from that day. And this is an evidence that democracy is no longer in operation in Nigeria. What we have now is oligarchy. Oligarchs in power who do not want to see or even feel the breeze of opposition in power, in government. Now, if people do not want a thing and they gang up or they mobilize themselves to the National Assembly, that's the right place to go. They want to speak to their representatives and make sure they hear them. How do they hear them? Even those representatives you see in the National Assembly cannot be found in the streets. They don't even know them in their different or various constituencies. They don't know them. In my own constituency in Lagos, I will tell you of a truth. I'm in Koshofe. Adetokunbo Abiru is not seen. The day they voted for him, people only saw him in poster, and that was all. The same thing with the House of Rep, Kafila Togbara. She's not seen. We only see them on social media. They don't come to the streets to speak with their people, to address their people, being one thing or the other. So these guys are not seen. So the best place Nigerians could meet with them is to march down to the National Assembly and speak with them as the people's representative. So tear-gassing them today is a shame to democracy. It is, in fact, it shows that our democracy had been murdered. And that is because protesters went there, they raised their placards. There's nothing. That is the real democracy. People speaking. Of a truth, there are two types of democracy. We have the classical democracy, or you call it the direct democracy. If we're running a direct democracy, the people's voice must be heard before any decision is made. But here we are, representative democracy is what we are operating. And if our representatives aren't doing well, we must call them to order. You are not representing yourself, you are representing us. And that's the point we need to meet. So tear-gassing them shows that democracy has been murdered in Nigeria, which is unfair.
Opeyemi Ogunlami, thank you so much for always honoring our invitation whenever we call you. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And thanks for having me.
All right. We have been speaking with Opeyemi Ogunlami. He is an activist as well as a public affairs analyst. And now President Bola Tinubu has joined the world in mourning the passing of civil rights icon Reverend Jesse Jackson. In a statement from Abuja, Tinubu described Jackson as a servant leader who fought for the dignity of Black people, the oppressed and the voiceless in the United States and globally. He said Jackson carried on the work of Martin Luther King Jr., became a national and global icon, and played a key role in paving the way for Barack Obama's presidency. Tinubu also recalled Jackson's strong ties to Africa, noting his campaigns against apartheid in South Africa, efforts for the release of Nelson Mandela and other ANC leaders, and his defense of human rights during Nigeria's military rule. He highlighted Jackson's service as special envoy to Nigeria and Africa, appointed by President Bill Clinton in 1997 and 1999. May the soul of Reverend Jackson rest in peace. While in another development, the federal government, through the Ministry of Health, has ordered the immediate disengagement of directors who have spent 8 years or more in the directorate cadre. A memo obtained in Abuja says the directive affects directors in the ministry, federal hospitals, and affiliated agencies. The move follows an earlier order requiring all ministries, departments, and agencies to enforce the 8-year tenure policy for directors and permanent secretaries, in line with the deadline set by the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation. The memo signed by the Tet Shoma Dafeta of the Office of the Permanent Secretary reiterated that affected officers must hand over all official documents and government property without delay. And now, rising cases of obstetric fistula in Edo State have prompted the National Obstetric Fistula Center to call for a partnership with the State Ministry of Women Affairs. The goal is to improve access to free treatment and medication for vulnerable women across all 18 local government areas. Our correspondent, Rhoda Johnny, has details.
National Obstetric Fistula Center in Benin City has called for collaboration with the Edo State Ministry of Women Affairs to provide free medical care and medication for vulnerable women across the 18 local government areas of the states. The Chief Medical Director of the center highlighted the need for a joint effort to fast-track access to treatment and support services for affected women.
We've been able to talk about how we could collaborate in the area of mobilization of VVF patients to benefit from the free treatment program of His Excellency Mr. President, to provide free care for women leaking urine and feces from the entire 18 local governments. We've spoken on how to deepen that, to mobilize the patients. We've also spoken on ancillary areas, related areas to obstetric fistula care. Okay, things that have to do with pelvic organ prolapse and some other related conditions, including female genital mutilation. Those are some of the things that we've spoken about, possible areas of collaboration, so that at the end of the day, the vulnerable, the downtrodden, the often forgotten, there are deliberate policies by government, both at federal and state level, to ensure that they are taken care of in the normal scheme of things.
In response, the Commissioner for Women Affairs assured the center of the ministry's full support and pledged to work closely to ensure the initiative benefits women in need.
Coming here today is for us to know how it works, and we found out that it's not just a medical condition, it is a life-changing experience as we have come here. Talking with the director of this center, we have come to know that we can actually change the lives of women, change their perception to their health status, and the collaboration, as we have been told, is something that is welcoming, and we hope that we will work together in unity, in peace, and then the women that are going to affect the children, the families, which is our main mandate, that we will be able to do that together and ensure that no woman suffers in silence, and that every individual receives care and dignity.
Brother Johnny, VOP TV News.
At least 6 people have died and 3 others injured in an accident involving a truck at the Ilo-Awela axis of the toll gate area on the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. Salah Ahmed, Ota Divisional Commander of the Ogun Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps, confirmed the incident. He said efforts are ongoing to clear the wreckage, including the truck, other vehicles, and a tricycle with T-Trace personnel and sister agencies managing the scene. Ahmed warned motorists to avoid speeding and ensure the vehicles are roadworthy before traveling.
Workers at OK Foods have protested the detention of several colleagues by police. The workers who marched to the VOP office in Lagos alleged that management instigated the arrests after their colleagues demanded an increase in daily pay from 3,100 naira to 4,000 naira. Some of the protesters spoke with VOP TV about the incident.
Our boys that they arrested, they should leave them.
According to the protesting workers, the dispute began after they requested an upward review of their daily pay from 3,100 to 4,000 naira, citing the rising cost of living and economic hardship. They claimed that while management proposed an increase to 3,500 naira, the workers rejected the offer, insisting that the amount also does not sufficiently address their financial challenges. The protesters further alleged that following the disagreement, some of their colleagues were arrested and detained by the police, an action they believe was instigated by the company's management.
So we are here to speak out our mind. We are here because of our payments. We asked them to pay us a ransom 4,000 naira for the old workers. They said they'll be paying us 3,500, and which she said we are not interested. After then, we found out today that some policemen arrested our workers, our members, both men, women, boys, girls, without no fighting, no stealing, no nothing. We are begging our boss, blacks, whites, that should please release our workers for us. We are not slaves, we are not animals, and we want our increments.
Bọ́n ṣe ń treat wa kò dára, kán tún fi kún owó wa, wọ́n sọ fún wa pé tá a bá fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́ ká máa lọ, àwọn máa employ another person tó máa ṣiṣẹ́. Torí ẹ̀ náà ṣe ń máa treat wa, wọ́n dẹ̀ ti ká àwọn ọmọ yẹn sínú mọ́tò láti àárọ̀, wọ́n fẹ́rẹ̀ sí fi tear gas. Some people don wound, wey dem carry dem go hospital out of us. Kò dáa kọjọ, kó ṣàánú wa.
I believe as a Nigerian citizen, it's our civilian right to protest. So we are at the front of the company protesting this money. Not that we even damage any of their properties. For the increment of our salary from 3,500 naira, it was 3,100 naira before. But we protest for 2 days. They said they are going to increase it, that we should give them a month's time. And we give them a month's time. They said it's 3,500. And with condition, it's with condition that if we not work 10 days, at least 10 days, in a voucher, that is at least 13 days in a voucher, we won't collect that 3,500 that we are going to collect. That 3,000 now we are going to collect. And out of that 3,000 we are going to collect, at times we are going to work for 10 days, 12 days. They are going to remove like 10,000 and 15,000. And once we go and report, they will threaten us that they will cut our card or they will pay us off. So we are protesting this money. When DPO from some police station, they send their men. They were throwing tear gas to us. Even I, as a woman, they were chasing me. 5 policemen, they were chasing me. And they even took like 4 of our boys. You people should please, you should come to our help. You should help us. They should release our boys. And that equipment, we are not working. And if they should not threaten us, and if they believe that they can pack all of us, maybe they will pack all of us. Thank God, that's why I'm even telling my colleagues, they don't want us to post it on social media. And I think it's right time we are going to post it on social media.
What I just see about the issue is that, okay, please don't know that we are working. And then what happened today is that I was aware of what happened in Futu. Because everybody just stay along the side, those policemen just come. We did not do anything. The next thing, they are just tear gas. Okay, what happened is that we say, what did he do? They need to just be forcing us to go. It's wrong. We are fighting for our rights. It's not that we are fighting to spoil anything. And then we did not damage anything. It's not that to be backing them up. It's rubbish. If you say they are embarrassing a old woman, they are pursuing it. That one is rubbish. Lady like that. It's not a man.
The Olam, which we know as okay food, have been treating us bad every day, here and there. We work for 2 weeks. We are supposed to be paid in the next 3 days. They paid us after 8 days. Many of us are starving. Many of us are stealing because of that, which is not good. And even though the constitution said you have the right to protest, even though the policemen protest, now we are protesting. They were shooting tear gas, even telling us that they are going to use chase bullets against us, which is very, very bad. So please, we beg you should help us to speak to them. If they don't want to work again, we should go. They should invite new people. We are not begging them for their work, but they should try and help us. Please, we beg you guys.
Despite the ongoing disputes, the workers say they have continued to report for duty while seeking a peaceful resolution to the matter. They are calling on relevant authorities and labor bodies to intervene to ensure fair negotiations and release of their detained colleagues. Efforts to get a response from the management of OK Foods were ongoing at the time of filing this report. For Voice of the People TV, this is Oyindamola Olukuto.
Thank you very much, Onyida. We now move on to the foreign scene. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says Tehran and the United States have reached an understanding on the main guiding principles in talks to resolve the long-standing nuclear dispute. Speaking after the Geneva discussions, Araghchi said various ideas were presented and seriously debated. The indirect talks involving U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner were mediated by Oman. Omani Foreign Minister Badri al-Busaidi noted that while much work remains, the parties are leaving with clear next steps. Announced to business, President Bola Tinubu has unveiled Nigeria's Industrial Policy 2025, directing relevant ministries, departments, and agencies to ensure swift implementation. Represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, the President launched the policy at the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center in Abuja. Tinubu described the policy as a roadmap to reposition Nigeria's industrial base, unlock value across key sectors, and place production, competitiveness, and job creation at the heart of the economy. He stressed the need for timely execution, noting that his administration came into office in 2023 with a promise to redefine Nigeria's industrial ambition.
Well, in sports news, Nigeria's Super Falcons will face Cameroon in two friendly matches in Yaoundé ahead of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. The teams will meet first on Saturday, 28 February, and again on Tuesday, the 3rd of March. At the WAFCON 2026 finals, holders Super Falcons will take on debutants Malawi, Zambia, and Egypt in Group C. The tournament will be hosted by Morocco from 17 March to 3rd April.
In entertainment, the FCT High Court in Life Camp Abuja has adjourned the trial of Nigerian rapper Tochukwu Jogu, known as Odumodu Black, in a suit of assault and battery until April 8, 2026. The case, brought by fellow musician Ogbogiri Oke-Levy, aka Cries, arises from an alleged attack at a public event in December 2024, while Cries was taking photos and videos. Counsels for both parties, Uchenna Ojenbe for the claimant and Taiwo Akinsulye for the defendant, agreed to the new date due to ongoing courtroom renovations. Krasgen said is seeking medical expenses, 2 billion naira in damages, and a public apology from Odumodu Black across social media and 2 national newspapers.
Well, it's a wrap for us on News Hour, but before we go, a quick look at the headlines. Senate passes Electoral Act Amendment Bill.
Minority caucus rejects manual transmission of results.
Also, Ezekwesili calls for mandatory e-transmission of results.
Senate orders stronger joint security in Niger and Kwara.
DSS witness tells court terrorists were paid for a war attack.
President Tinubu warns Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Well, on the foreign scene, we told you that Iran has claimed progress in U.S. nuclear talks.
In business, Tinubu unveils Nigeria's Industrial Policy 2025.
Well, in sports news, Super Falcons face Cameroon in friendlies.
And in the world of entertainment, Odumodu Black trial adjourned to April 8. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People Television, and on other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. You witness news happening near you. We want to hear from you. Send your eyewitness reports, event coverage request, photos or videos directly via WhatsApp to 0814-606-4057. And also reach our newsroom by email at news@vop.ng. I am Nana Ndomdioto.
And I am Vivian Oguche. Thank you for watching.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People Television, where your health has a voice.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations, but who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television. Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is Africa News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
I'm Sarah Nystrom from Sweden, aka Chief Omobowale, Communication Queen. Keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, I'm Samantha Jacobs, representing the States. Miami's in the house, and I want to make a shout out to VOP TV. I'm a humanitarian, and I'm also a rep in the film industry and the art industry. I help dreams come true, and I help you keep on that path. Shout out to VOP TV because you're helping people stay on their path too. Cheers.
All right, my name is John Odibo. Keep watching Voice of the People because it's a fantastic station to be with all the time. Thank you very much.
My name is Pastor Evi Siru, the convener of the Voice Achievers Award, and keep watching VOP. Yes, that is the channel for all the people. No color, no race. Thank you so much.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, this is Abbas Sunkan from the Netherlands. I am a designer and I'm here in Eco Hotel and Suits. Keep watching VOP, the voice of the people. Don't touch that dial.
PTV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Hello there, good morning, and thanks for joining us on VOP this morning. I am Chukuma Okoro. Now, in the next 2 hours, we are going to take you through very interesting stories. 3 of them major, 3 of them not minor anyway, but we'll just talk about those stories. Number 1, Senate says Nigeria not ready for electoral reforms, demands for real-time transmission. And when we move away from that, Obi defies system declares running under ADC. And finally, DSS files 3 counts charge against El-Rufai for intercepting Ribadu's phone conversation. Now, these are the major topics of discussion, but we also have other interesting trending stories that we will talk about in the course of the show.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jane Ogoye. The Lagos State government has moved swiftly to calm public uproar after a recent Court of Appeal ruling in Abuja barred vehicle inspection officers, VIOs, in Federal Capital Territory from stopping motorists, impounding vehicles, or imposing fines. Clarifying the situation, Lagos Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Lawal Pedro, stressed that the judgment applies strictly to the FCT and does not invalidate the operations of the Lagos State Vehicle Inspection Service, VIS. He described viral claims suggesting nationwide applications as misleading, insisting that Lagos VIS officers remain legally empowered to enforce traffic laws across the state. The clarification comes amid widespread confusion on social media, where many motorists had celebrated the Abuja ruling as a blanket victory against VIO enforcement nationwide, a perception Lagos authorities says is both inaccurate and dangerous for road safety. So I'm thinking, why do we have 2 different laws, one in Abuja, one in Lagos? Because it's rather confusing. And I think it just goes to show that in Nigeria, law is not really nationwide, it's geographical. So while Abuja people are celebrating, Lagos people are Sorry, why Abuja people are celebrating, Lagos people are like, when will it be our turn? What do you guys think?
Well, I think that's the beauty of federalism. That's the beauty of federalism, because in a federal structure, you have the central government and the federated units. Now, the federated units are at liberty, to make their own laws. If you go to the United States of America, in some states, abortion is allowed. In some states, abortion is illegal. But in Nigeria here, we have what we call the penal code and what's the other code again? There are two codes, one for the north and one for the south. Then we used to have what we call the laws of Lagos State and the laws of the federation at some point. So now states make laws. Like in some states, it's capital, capital punishment if you are caught kidnapping. In some states, it's not. That's the beauty of federalism. Okay. Federalism actually means that you have small states, states in terms of mini sovereignty, that come together to surrender their sovereignty to the central government. Now, that's the beauty of it.
That's the argument where No,
it's not an argument.
Okay, well,
that's a fact. That's the beauty of federalism.
Some people are taking it from. Anyway, I'm Moses Humphrey, and welcome to the conversation. Well, Jane was just, ready to dive into it without wasting any time. She's ready to go.